right, guys. Jake Shields podcast live from Jake Shields' house here in Las Vegas. What's up, dude?
Yep, we're in Vegas. His first time here. It's been a wild weekend. He's saying how fun this crazy city is. So we've had a rough weekend. Might be a rough one, but we'll get through it.
We'll get through it, man. I've learned a lot in the Vegas. Like, it's dry. You got to drink water. I've never drank water constantly. Yeah, like it's insane, man. But speaking of insane, UFC 264 goes down. There's all this hype. Main event comes. Conor McGregor ends up snapping what looked like his leg. But let's be real. It wasn't like, it's Poirier wins by a doctor stoppage, but that fight was going to go Poirier's way.
Yeah, first off, I was extremely impressed by Poirier. The fight, as I predicted, I thought Conor would have an advantage early and Poirier would take over later. In the beginning, it looked like dead even the first 2 minutes, and that's when Conor's the best. Poirier looked really sharp, and he started just taking over. He looked phenomenal. Extremely impressed with him. And then the foot break, even though I'm not really a big Conor fan, as a fighter, I hate seeing that. It's terrible seeing injury like that. It could have happened to me. Even I saw Nate last night. He's like, oh, man, I hated seeing that. You don't like Conor. It's like, as a fighter, when you see that, you're like, man, it sucks. That's not a good thing. It's going to be a tough recovery for him, but it was a bad break. But Poirier was winning that fight regardless. I think it would have finished the next round. I mean, you can't say for sure, but I think he would have finished him.
Oh, yeah, for sure he would have finished him. I mean, he wasn't looking – I mean, I know leading into that, a couple of judges, they had come out and said we're like 10-8ing it anyway, right? So
yeah, Conor.
He was in trouble. His jiu-jitsu, again, he went for like guillotines, but I mean, being who you are, it's sloppy, right? Yeah, I mean, that kind of was the consensus online. And I saw
thought he actually had a good grip, and he had half of it down really good. So he wasn't like, it wasn't trash. He was just missing a couple of little small details. And it's like, when you're an A-level striker, world champion level striker, maybe don't go to something that you're B-level in. Yeah, and I'm not saying the guillotine was terrible. It wasn't way off, but it was just he was missing this few. He's not world-class level, so for him to sit there was probably a poor choice. Yeah. And you could tell, Dustin wasn't really feeling it, really tried to beat him up.
No, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about it. The fight happens. Poirier gets on the mic. Conor's on the ground yelling, that better be a doctor's stoppage. Joe Rogan does an interview. Now, Conor gets interviewed on the ground with a broken leg. I imagine Conor would have had to tell Joe, I want to do that, because I don't think you really go and interview someone with a broken leg.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. He's so big. It's possible Joe went over there. He might be the exception of the guy you would.
True. Yeah, I guess so. I just think about it being me. It's different when you're Joe Rogan because he's like a killer and trains and everything else. But Conor gets on the mic and it was a bad look. He talks about his wife even after he's on the ground, just got his ass kicked, got his leg broken. I mean, from a fighting standpoint, shit gets said to build up a fight. But when it's over like that's a bad look, no?
Yeah, I think it was really bad look. Some of Conor's fans might like it, but I think it was really, really bad. Especially, you just got your ass kicked. Poirier just beat him up. He was being respectful. And you start insulting this guy's wife who just beat you up, which is something you shouldn't even do before the fight. And then after – he's laying there with a broken leg. Like, this is a real street fight. Dustin's going there and kick your teeth in. Yeah. And Dustin might be a nice guy, but he's a fighter. People don't realize if this is a real street fight and you're insulting his wife, I have a feeling Dustin would have went and kicked his head in right there.
Yeah.
He's just lucky he had security to save him. You're sitting there laughing at a guy that just beat you up, mocking his wife, who we all know didn't really DM him.
It was bad. Such a bad fake.
Makes up a story. And then he's like, I mean, I know I've gotten a lot of crap. People, Conor fans, probably come after me. But he's just looking like a clown, walking out in a stretcher, yelling like he just won something. It's like, no, you're looking like a clown. Yeah,
it was like he was hoping that everyone would be like, oh, he just stepped on his back leg and it snapped. Nothing you can do. No, he was getting his ass kicked. Looked like when I saw some footage after rolled back. When Poirier checked one of his leg kicks, he pointed down at his leg, so he knew he had hurt him. And then when he stepped back, it just broke.
Yeah, I mean, just step back and break doesn't seem too likely. I have a feeling Poirier probably fractured it before and it was already hurt. And you've seen Conor earlier; he was kind of switching his stance a little bit, which he does anyways. But I think he was switching it more because his feet were already a little hurt. And I think he probably had he must have had a fracture in there, and when he stepped back, it buckled. Again, that was still a freak accident, but it was also because he'd been injured by Poirier. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, Dana White comes out after and implies that they need to do it again. No way. I can't. I'm wondering what's next for Conor. I mean, obviously, no matter what you think about him personally, you want him to recover and get back to doing the sport, right? Right now, in my opinion, Nate would dog walk him. He needs to get a fight, a win. I don't think Conor can come in after that and fight Nate after the performance Nate put against Edwards. Like,
yeah, I think that would sell. Obviously, being a good friend of Nate, I'm biased, but I think Nate would just if that Conor showed up, Nate would destroy that Conor. Maybe if he comes out looking different, it'd be a good fight. But it's going to be hard to really sell that fight the way he looked and the way Nate looked. Nate, almost beat the number 170 pounder, and he just got destroyed by Dustin. So it's going to be I think Conor needs a win first. I think Conor needs one win and then try to set up Nate. But they need to give him someone, honestly, who's not in the top 10, in my opinion.
It'd be interesting to see them run back Aldo and McGregor.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Make Aldo go up, try to give Gregor some advantages or something, because I don't think McGregor's going back to 45.
No.
I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really think of a good opponent for him right now. He's just losing so bad twice in a row to Dustin. It's like he needs to come back and get a win.
Yeah, and it's not just that. He lost to Khabib really bad, and he lost I think he's got one win in his last 5 or 6 fights, and now it's like, is that Conor McGregor magic gone? Listen, I said this. We were at the press conference where they're covering it. Conor fights, energy, high, aura. There's like a whole energy about it. That wasn't there. It wasn't there.
It looked fake to me. We were watching the fight. People asked me what happened walking out, and I go, we were mixed before, and I go walking out. Conor looks like he's faking the swagger, and Dustin looks really confident. I mean, you don't always know for sure as a fighter, but I have a good chance to be able to guess by looking at the eyes as they walk out. Sometimes I'm off, but you can kind of tell their confidence, and his looked like it was a fake swagger, and Dustin looked really like confident, ready to take it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough to be a trained killer when you're as rich as Conor McGregor too. There's no way that doesn't have something to do with it. You don't train the same. I don't think. How can you have that same amount?
Yeah, 100%. Like even me, I never got rich, but I made good money where I'm comfortable. And then there was a time in my career when I had nothing, no job skills, no this. You're like, no, I have to make it. All of a sudden your life's comfortable. You got money put away for retirement. You got nice cars, houses. You're like, okay, life's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't really need to risk it, right?
Yeah, even way less fame and money than him, it gets a little harder to have that hunger. So at his level, it has to be hard to be hungry. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Speaking of hungry, what an important and amazing win for Gilbert Burns over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Burns loses to Usman, fantastic fighter. And then coming into this fight, I felt like the media, people at our staff, everybody, they were writing Gilbert Burns off. And it's like, do you forget who he is? Just because Usman cracked him. I mean, Usman's cracking everybody in that division. He's one of the best fighters.
Gilbert also won the first round. People forget of that.
Yeah.
He got in the first round and got finished.
And then got finished. Yeah, he even stunned Usman really bad in that fight.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan and believer of Gilbert Burns. I've had 2 grappling matches with him. Beat him once, had a draw with him. Both extremely tough matches. The guy's phenomenal grappler. He's a world-class grappler, but also has really good stand-up, great cardio. And he has the hunger, like we were just talking about. The thing I see in his eyes, he's hungry. He broke down crying when he lost to Usman because he wanted that so bad.
So badly.
He was so hungry and wanted it so bad and thought he had it. And he got knocked out. It's so bad where, you see a grown man cry that tough because you want something so bad. And I think he still has that hunger.
Oh, yeah. I think he'll be in the title picture again.
He'll fight for a title again. Obviously, just losing by knockout, he needs at least one more. But I see him fighting for a title, and he potentially could get the title. Yeah,
I think he needs one more fight, unless for some reason Covington beats Usman. Then maybe Burns can jump right in. But if it's Usman again, I think he's got to beat someone else. Maybe if Colby loses, it'd be good to set up Burns and Covington. That could be a good
100%. Actually, no. If Usman loses, I'd be all about him and Covington, and then he would deserve it. But it's hard when you get knocked out to get a rematch early.
Right away, unless you're Masvidal.
That's back to saying Conor deserves another rematch with Dustin after getting knocked out twice in a row. It's like, it makes zero sense.
I could not want to see a Dustin Conor any less after this weekend.
I don't think anyone want to see that.
No. Okay, so I got to talk to you about it. The Shoey, Tuivasa, first off, hilarious gimmick with the Shoey. We got a video to roll right now. Jake doing the Shoey. Let's just get to the Shoey now. That's such a good video, man. I love that video so much. So Tai Tuivasa, what a great counter punch because he got rocked by Hardy. I think it was a left he hit him with. It was crazy. We were doing the stream and it was noisy out there and shit, but he cracks him, knocks Hardy right out, and then chugs a beer out of his shoe. He's walking out. The fans are giving him shoe beers. I mean, Tuivasa, mark a 10 out of 10 performance, but I think the most impressive thing in the world is that marketing. Like, I hope they got the Shoey. He should have his own custom shoes being made.
Brilliant. Brilliant performance, first off. The guy looked amazing, but I was at the pool just like an hour ago. I see him. I go, that's the Shoey guy. I go start talking to him, a great guy in person. And I'm like, you know what? When I saw him do a Shoey, I'm like, this is the most gross thing I've ever seen. Next time I'm talking to him, I'm like, do you want to drink? I'm like, let's do a shoey.
Yeah.
Didn't have a shoey. He goes, got my sandal. We'll do a flip floppy or whatever, whatever he calls it. Yeah. So chug that down. My dumb ass, I thought it was from New Zealand, apparently. I guess he's from Australia. So I'm like, New Zealand. I thought it was New Zealand. I guess it's an Australian thing. But regardless, I'm like, screw it. Hit a shoey. And he's making it go popular in the U.S.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully not too popular. Hopefully I'll be my only one.
Yeah. You know what? He's got like 3 really impressive wins in a row. He's got one over Struve. Jack, who else did he beat?
Tuivasa beat Hunsucker, Struve, and now Hardy.
Hunsucker, Struve, and Hardy, 3-fight win streak. He's going to get a big heavyweight next too.
I love him. Like I said, just meeting in person, he's a great guy, charismatic, the great gimmick. I mean, I don't know if he really does shoeys randomly, but it's the most memorable gimmick. As soon as I saw the guy at the pool, I'm like, oh, there's the shoey guy. I went over and started talking to him. And like I said, he was extremely cool, funny in person. And I'm rooting for him for sure.
Yeah, man, big time too. I liked him. It's impossible not to like him like that. You can tell his energy's there. He's hungry.
There's probably a big separation from like him and Francis, but I think the rest of the guys he might be able to pick off and work his way up there.
Yeah, speaking of Francis, the first day we were here, you took us by Extreme Couture. I really appreciate that. We had a great time. Francis is officially the biggest, scariest man I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, people don't realize how big he is till you see him. And the way he moves, his athleticism, he's extremely nice guy, but he's a scary guy to train with. When you're training with him, you're like, oh, man, this guy can hurt you. He's extremely big and athletic.
Yeah, and we were there on Wednesday, which is wrestling day, so it was a little less busy at the gym because no one – it's not as fun. Not as fun. And I was watching him with some of the heavyweight boys in the gym, and I was just like, I do not want to be that guy. I think there was one point where one of them was on the bottom, and he was like, all right, Francis, I'll just be your girlfriend. Get off me, man. Like, it was so fun.
Yeah, I didn't watch him wrestling, but he's not a bad wrestler.
Yeah, you were out there tapping people out.
People think he has no wrestling. I'm sure as you saw, the guy's he's got some decent wrestling now.
Yeah, he's man, from what I saw, like I know the Lewis and Gone fight's happening, but if he's putting that all together with his striking, this is going to be like a Stipe like title run for him. I think
he could be the champ for a while. His athleticism's on a different level, and like you said, he wants to box too. I think if Dana doesn't let him do that, that's extremely stupid move because he's the guy who possibly could be a boxing world champion and UFC champion, and no one's ever done that. He could potentially be the first guy to ever pull that off.
Yeah, because nothing would be better than if they could cross over and have like him and the Gypsy King.
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, still, he probably need a little work to do that, but he potentially is one of the only guys that potentially could win a world title in boxing and UFC. That would be huge.
Yeah, man, it would be huge. Speaking of huge guys, I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FusionFightGear.com. Go over there, grab a gi, grab a rash guard, use promo code Jake, AJJ, to save 20%. And for the Australians and New Zealanders, sometimes we mix you up.
Mix you guys up, but it's like Canada and America. We mix each other up too.
Yeah, it happens. I don't get that mad, so it's all good. We got something for you too. Go on over to Poncho Michael, and you can grab it with the same discount code there. Before we come off of the UFC and go into the High Rollers event, which I got to say was insane, and we'll get into that too because I'm from Canada. We like to smoke weed, right? I mean, I don't think there's any place better in the world to be than High Rollers if you like to smoke weed.
Yeah, it's definitely a place to smoke. Yeah, I didn't know you guys smoke like that. You'll fit right in California.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, California and Canada are very similar.
All the top weeds coming out of Northern California, so or a lot of it.
Hell yeah, yeah. I think Northern California, I mean, all the weed we've had here, we had the whatever they were giving out, the promo girls. It was incredible, but incredible performance from Sean O'Malley. You got to give it to him. I know he did his after party at the High Rollers there. Landed the most strikes ever in a match against Matinho, who came in on short notice, ate all these punches. Herb Dean lets him get beat up for 14 and a half minutes and then stops it at the end. It was like the craziest stoppage, and Herb's usually a great ref. Yeah. You didn't like that stoppage.
Not at all. And again, I like Herb as a ref. I know him personally. I think he's a great ref, but that was a terrible stoppage. That I actually missed the first 2 rounds of that fight. I walked, I came in a little late. I was walking, but from what I saw, the guy was doing okay. He was coming forwards. He didn't look hurt. He may have been a little, busted up from the whole fight, but he wasn't stunned as it was stopped. It wasn't like they showed replays, and it was earlier in the fight where he was more stunned, where he could have jumped in, but he was coming forward still, and he jumped in and stopped it. So a really bad stoppage. I mean, luckily it's not something that would change the outcome of the fight, so then it would really be a big deal, but still sucks to get a TKO when it should have been a decision loss.
Yeah, it sucked for sure. And if you're Matinho though, holy man, we said it with Nate too against Leon. Like sometimes you just do so damn well in a fight. Like that kid maybe didn't win the fight, but there's no way the UFC isn't going to come forward with another fight or two for this kid.
That like on 9 days notice or something?
Yeah, it was 9 days notice. No one even knew who he was. And you could tell there was a point in the first round. And I mean, Sugar Sean was dealing on him, but he got hit a couple times from this kid. And then you could see it in him. He was like, I don't know. I'm not saying he wasn't taking it as serious, but I think he tightened up a bit. I think he thought he could be a little more loose, a little more hands down. And then that kid countered him a couple times while just eating the punches. And you saw OMalley get hit and bang the cage a couple times. So that kid's stock definitely, that fight did well for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I just caught the third round, but he was walking forwards. I think he was hitting Sean a few times. He looked like aggressive. I'm like, oh, he's still in this fight. He's trying to knock him out. He wasn't out there. He didn't look like he was out there to lose that third round. He was actually going there to try to knock him out that third round. That's why I thought it was such a bad stoppage. He was still out there trying to win the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now high rollers. What a time. What an event. You had Patchy there. He ends up taking the championship. He went against Tim Elliott of the UFC, won the Ultimate Fighter. What did you think of Patchy's performance? That was incredible.
Yeah, Patchy's a guy I trained with and helped train. One of the guys, a training partner and student, and I was extremely impressed. He's always had a good guillotine, and he's making. I was so happy to see him finish it from mount. He usually goes to guard and finish it from top now. Elliott's a tough guy, and that fight had a little personal drama too. Not between Elliott. Elliott's a great guy, but Elliott's part of the team of Gallagher, who they do have beef with. And it's like, Gallagher I was in the gym the other day. I see Gallagher in there. I'm like, oh, what's he doing in the gym? And nothing against Strauss and Elliott, but this guy's, talking about Patchy. He's coming through the gym. They're in there. It's his training partner. So I think Patchy wanted to make a statement and went out there and destroyed his teammate. I have a feeling Gallagher probably won't sign the fight now, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if he signs the fight now. Gallagher and Patchy were supposed to go at Bellator. Gallagher had to pull out, and then that day we had said it on the show, Gallagher's talking shit. So for Patchy, I mean, that had to feel good to get the win, because a couple of the guys in the corner at high rollers were Gallagher's. They're Gallagher's guys, which is Strauss and stuff. Which I like Strauss, so me and him are on great terms. But still, when you got the guy talking crap, Patchy don't like him. He's been disrespectful for Patchy. For his last fight, he's sitting there DMing him for like hours, talking crap, being like, "You're gonna get your ass kicked." He's a little disrespectful, Conor wannabe. So Patchy wanted to make a statement. So he wanted to go out there, not just win. He wanted to get a submission early to show him that he's in a different level. Yeah, you got your strap too from high rollers, Jack. Let's get that belt over here. Look at this. Yeah, so now the open weight lightweight champ, and I'm the open weight, which means I gotta go against all those heavyweights. Yeah, so I got the thing right here, and I was impressed. He showed up with about 10 joints to high rollers. I'm like, dang, you Canadians! Oh hell yeah! I told him he's going to need it. Like, oh, there'll be tons of weed here. He shows up ready, joint in the hand the whole time. Like, yeah, they don't mess around in Canada. No, that was my event. You know what I mean? You're a professional athlete. I think I'm a professional smoker. I think I could roll in Cali and smoke weed down there. With the high rollers. Yeah, exactly. Now, open weight. We saw an open weight fight there. I don't know who they were. It was in the brown belt division, I believe. That is insane to watch. I mean, did you see that the smaller guy against that? The guy kept throwing him off, and it was. Yeah, they do a lot of those in high rollers at open weights. I had a 135 pounder do the open weight white belt, and he ended up taking second, and he was going against guys that are like 250, 230. So it's funny when you see those exciting weight different matches. It's interesting. Yeah, exactly, man. So you never know. You're going to either be going up against big guys, or you can maybe get tossed a smaller guy too. We'll see what they got for you in the future. Is there any timeline on when they're going to start doing the next events? I think in the next, he wants to do something in August. So they're trying to stay more active. High rollers is growing and getting bigger. I think he wants to try to do one a month. Yeah, they should. And Joe Schilling had the kickboxing there today. That was smokes or something. It was smokers. I think they call it smokers, but like because smokers obviously they're getting high, so they were getting high and doing the kickboxing fights. And we went to watch that, but we went a little late. I was too busy doing shoeys. Too many shoeys in Vegas. Walked in and Joe was already gone. It was over. I walked in, like, wait, what's going on? We missed it. Yeah, you come to Vegas, you're like, yo, we're gonna get all this content and stuff, and then shoeys and shots and people drinks. Pulling you out. You're running into Nate Diaz, Chuck Liddell, you're dragging your club, shoeys. It's a rough city. And man, the one thing I noticed about here that's different is when you're walking through all those casinos, they're just pumping the oxygen in. So even if you're not like drunk or whatever, I could never sleep more than like 4 or 5 hours if you're in there all the time. I mean,
they're just pumping the oxygen and keep everyone awake, keeping them gambling, and it's fucking crazy here, man.
Yeah, it's easy to keep energy going in Vegas.
Hell yeah, man. Well, hey, I can't wait to come back. Appreciate you showing us everything, brother.
It's been a great week out here.
Yeah, man, it was great. Thanks for so much. We enjoyed all of it, guys. Catch you next time. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be back next week. Peace.